In today's video, man, we do have some brand new WWE action figure news for you, and I'm excited for it because we have a brand new WWE Elite figure wave revealed to us, man. We're talking about WWE Elite Series 121. Yes, 121. I may make a video soon talking about Elite 119, 120, and then 121, kind of giving you the heads up on what's to come and things of that nature. And I know we'll probably do, what to expect at San Diego Comic-Con video shortly before the event. That'll probably be in like a month or so or whatever the case is. But shout out to Mitch Craig on Twitter, man. He is the one that came up with this information, and he bets a pretty good percentage, man. For the most part, he is pretty on the money. So huge shout out to Mitch here as we're going to dive into Elite Series 121, break it all down for you. I'm going to give you my thoughts on everything and just kind of break it all down for you, man. So with that being said, man, let's start off with the first figure in the set, and it is going to be a figure we did not know about. We did not know about this figure, at least to my knowledge, man, but the first figure in this set of Elite Series 121 is going to be CM Punk. Now, obviously, no stranger to the Elite line is CM Punk. We've seen so many damn CM Punk figures since his return at Survivor Series War Games, and we're going to continue to get his figures. We already know this, and we have seen him pumped out, man. I mean, he was in Elite 113 with the Macho Man gear, and I believe in Elite Series 113 or 15, I can't remember. I want to say it was 113, but I could be mistaken. I want to say he was supposed to be the Chase in that set, and there was a black and white variant that was going to be coming out, and they ended up scratching it, and it was going to be pretty much a re-release of a basic figure gear that we had already seen previously years ago, I think back in like 2012 or something like that, but that figure did not come to fruition, so that'll be interesting to see if that's what this figure is or if it's a modern rendition, and I think that it will be a modern rendition, and we're going to get into the gears that I think it is and stuff like that. But funny enough, in this set, it appears that CM Punk is going to be the Chase. So if you're a CM Punk fan, this is something you can look forward to. CM Punk is getting two figures in this set, and he will be the Chase here. Now, as far as gears, what gear can it be? Is it going to be modern day? I would assume that this is going to be a 2024 version of CM Punk. I think this is going to be a modern day version. We have seen a couple flashbacks here and there, and we are going to get plenty down the line in the From the Vaults and the Mattel Creations exclusives and the this and the that. But I think in this set, he is going to be modern day. And for me, I think that this is what I hope it is. I think that it's a little too soon to be his Royal Rumble 2025 gear in the pink, but I could absolutely see this being his Bash in Berlin gear in the white. That is the gear that I want to see right here. I do believe that Bash in Berlin was around August, so that would be right on par with this figure coming out. That would be almost about a year since we saw that gear, and I think that would be the perfect Elite here for CM Punk, would be the Bash in Berlin gear in the white versus Drew McIntyre, and they would probably give him some sort of strap accessory or rope accessory, whatever the case is, from that matchup with Drew McIntyre. That's what I'm guessing. I'm hoping it's that gear. I think that would be absolute money, and it would be beautiful. It could be potentially the best Elite CM Punk of all time if they played their cards right. Maybe they give us a brand new head sculpt, or, I know how good the Elite 115 head sculpt is, the Mattel Creations, Survivor Series War Games Return, promo gear style Punk is, that head sculpt there, but I'd like to see a new one. I want to see a brand new one. Maybe they'll repeat one of those Ultimate Editions, and again, we already know we're getting that SummerSlam gear in Ultimate Edition form with new head sculpt, so they'll probably take the Elite, give us the Bash in Berlin gear, put it on one of those Ultimate Edition head sculpts, and call it a day. Now, that doesn't really include the Chase variant, though, so in the Chase variant, you have a bunch of different options, I guess, but I personally was thinking Bad Blood 2024 in the Shawn Michaels-esque gear. I think that would be a pretty cool Chase variant, not one that everybody wants to have maybe in their collection, but certainly a really cool crossover, kind of, commemorates that Hell in a Cell matchup, and it would be a great Chase. I think that is a home run, without a doubt, knocked it out of the park, attire and figure, and it would probably contend as one of the best figures ever for CM Punk. I think it would be that damn good on both of those fronts. So we'll have to see what gears they choose, but that would be my two choices. If you guys have different gears that you would like to see, down in the comment section below. Now, if we're talking about a flashback Punk, it would be a different story, but for modern day Punk, those are easily the two gears that I would select for this Elite Series 121 figure. But let's move on to the next figure in the set. And this one's kind of a layup because we already knew about this, but they are continuing on the train of 5 regular Elites in this wave, 6 if you include the Chase variant CM Punk, but John Cena is going to be in this wave. Now, we already know that John Cena is going to be a collector's edition in every single wave. Now, where it came in weird was he going to be a 7th figure or a 6th figure, but it does look like he is going to be the 6th figure, and it's going to be a collector's edition. You guys know, or if you're unaware, they are releasing a John Cena collector's edition Elite in every single main series WWE Elite line for all those waves this year. So with that being said, we are getting John Cena again here. Now, it's very cool because every single one of these collector's editions has been a very unique look for John Cena, or it's been a very specific look. It has been, a certain run-of-the-mill. We had the Elite Series 118 from the WrestleMania 22. In Elite Series 119, we are seeing The Last Time Is Now John Cena in the blue and white. I don't think we quite know what the Elite Series 120 is going to be. And then, of course, in Elite Series 121, we don't know what it's going to be either. But we already got the red attire, the red and blue attire releases of Mattel Creations and Walmart exclusive figure, WrestleMania Superstore exclusive, that one. And then we did have the Greatest Hits clear version of John Cena, which was also a great figure. But I imagine they're going to try to do something fun with John Cena here. And with that being said, I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring, man. I'm going to say Vanilla Ice John Cena. I'm going to say the birth of the Doctor of Thugonomics with a wig. Maybe they do a unique head sculpt with an attachable hairpiece. They give him the jumpsuit, the chain, and all the different stuff, man, and they give us Vanilla Ice John Cena Halloween costume from back in the day. That would be a dream figure release for me from Mattel. I think that would be this is the perfect opportunity to do so. It would be sought after. You got that collector's edition. Now, I think Elite Series 118 John Cena is good. I can't remember. Dude, I can't remember how they flip-flop, but it's either going to be Walmart exclusive or Target exclusive. They go back and forth there. So whatever 18 is, 19 will be the opposite, 20 will be the same as 18, and then 21 will be the same as 19, if that makes sense there for you. But I would love to see Vanilla Ice John Cena as that collector's edition figure. It would be really cool as an exclusive, and it'd be... Obviously, that actually makes sense for a ringside exclusive, to be honest with you, but I think they could do that as a collector's edition. Now, whether they do that in 120 or 121 is beside me, and if they have shown off Elite Series 120 collector's edition Cena, maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think they have yet. I'm pretty sure that has been under wraps so far, and we'll have to see what comes of it, but John Cena as a collector's edition will be in Elite Series 121, and I hope it's just some really cool John Cena. As the big John Cena guy, as you guys know, I don't care what they do for John Cena, I just hope that it's a good figure. I hope that they nail it all across the board. I'd like to see a new damn head sculpt, and I guess if they did that Vanilla Ice deal, then maybe that would have to come to fruition unless they did some sort of weird hair attachment piece that I could totally see them doing, almost like a sit on top of the head like Johnny Bravo or something. But let's move on to the next figure in the set. It's going to be Obafemi here, and this is a figure we saw back at the WrestleMania Superstore at WWE World, and we do know we're also getting a basic of him coming soon as well in, I think, Basic Series or Main Event Series 158, so that is also a thing there. But Obafemi, this should be up there for one of the better figures of the year in terms of elites. I know he's smiling here. I don't really prefer the smile. I think I'd be more on board with a pissed off or a stern look, but I still think the figure is going to be great. I feel like Mattel does really, really well in their bigger figures, and I think he looks like he's going to feel great in the hand, be able to pose and things, and we could be looking at a potential WWE Elite figure of the year when it's all said and done here with Obafemi. So I'm really excited to see what gear it is and, all the bells and whistles that they add to this figure, but it looks like it's going to be a monster, and it looks like it's going to pose well and all those things. And I think that if I do come across the basic in the wild or something on a toy hunt, that would definitely be a purchase for me. I think that's a very interesting basic series that's coming out there in Basic Series 158 or Main Event Series. They're always going to be basics to me, damn it. But Obafemi there is in Elite Series 121. This was a part of some of the reveals we saw at the WWE World. But let's move on to the next figure in the set, which is going to be Carmelo Hayes here. And this one I am not looking forward to, man. I'm not looking forward to this figure. I'm very interested to see what gear they go with, of course. We just saw prototype form, but head sculpt to me did not look right at WWE World. I did not like the way the figure looked on display, and I don't even like his formula for the most part. I feel like they could do better on his formula. It's kind of the standard arms, and it's got the Terry Funk torso, and I don't feel like he's really ever had a head sculpt that has looked like him. And I don't think this one really looks like him. Now, it is just a sculpt. You could apply some paint apps, and you could get some there and see, a different story. It could paint a different picture for us as far as Carmelo Hayes goes when the figure is painted and we get to see real tech on it and, all the different things going on there. But I feel like the sculpt can tell a whole story in itself because, kind of like in our golden Seth Rollins statue video from, a few days ago, when you spray the whole thing gold and you can really just see, you're not relying on the paint apps or anything like that. You're going true to sculpt. I don't like the true sculpt here for Carmelo, but I think it's going to depend on how it's executed when it's painted, what gear it is, and all those different things, but you can let me know what you think of Carmelo Hayes. Of course, this will be his third Elite figure, and I think his fourth or fifth figure overall. I do believe he has a basic also that doesn't look like him either. So, I don't know, man, but let's move on to the next figure. We do have Austin Theory. Now, this one's kind of a layup. I think we know exactly what this figure is going to look like. We did get Elite Series 117 Grayson Waller with the new SmackDown Tag Team Championship, and I do believe that this will be the match equivalent there with Austin Theory, and it's going to match that figure from WrestleMania 40 where they won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And then this Austin Theory will be a repaint of some of his other figures. We've already kind of seen the formula. Hate that they're giving him the standard arms. I think he deserves bigger arms. Austin Theory has massive shoulders and arms. I don't know how they haven't upgraded him here, but I mean, I guess it's not the hardest swap ever, but it's going to be his white and green gear to match Grayson Waller. It's a pretty solid gear, I think it's fine. It's going to come with a SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It's a bit of a repaint of some of his most recent figures anyway, so we'll see how that all comes out, but I think this is definitely going to be that. It's going to match the Grayson Waller, so if you guys are looking forward to that gear for Theory, there you have it. It will be here with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship for you. But the last figure in the set is going to be Alba Fire here. And Alba Fire, I didn't even know who this was when I saw this figure on display. I did not recognize it. I was like, who the hell is this supposed to be? That is what I kind of felt when looking at this figure. I could not recognize her whatsoever with the sculpt. So it's kind of like the Carmelo Hayes situation where, I mean, until we see it painted and stuff, it's going to be fully hard to judge. But going into it, just doesn't look that great to me. And of course, paint apps, gear, what they choose, all those things will really hammer it home for this figure and kind of decide if this figure is worth picking up, etc. But it is going to be a first time in the line, which I know excites a lot of people, but that is going to be your Elite Series 121 there. But again, I'm excited to see what gears they pick and different things like that. But I also imagine, Elite Series 119 should be in our hands probably before Comic-Con, and then Elite Series 120 will probably be on display at Comic-Con, if not already revealed before then. And if that's the case, maybe Elite Series 121 will be on display at Comic-Con, which would be an update from WWE World, which is usually how it works anyway, right? We usually see the prototypes of the renders, and then we'll see a full-fledged prototype where it's them actually painted and fully rendered pretty much, and then we'll get the image gallery like we like to do with news, and then the figures should be, arriving any week after that point. So that's kind of how the process works if you've been around the block a time or two. But that's your full Elite lineup there for Elite Series 121. Again, kind of keeping the same trend that we've seen over the last, couple years now. It seems that the main Elite line has been pretty much a modern line, man. They are not really dipping their toe into the flashbacks. I think it's because there's so many flashback lines now from the Vault, Greatest Hits, Monday Night Wars, Greatest Hits, Legends Greatest Hits. There's so many damn re-release waves and so many different flashback waves now that they seem to just have the main Elite line for putting out new sculpts and putting out the modern day talent of WWE and wrestling. So there is that. But we also have a look at some main event series and some championship showdown packs that we'll get into right now. So main event series 160 is going to be Roman Reigns, Gunther, Dominic Mysterio, Kehlani, and Tonga Loa. Now these are also figures that we saw back at WrestleMania, or a lot of these we did see back at WrestleMania, and we got to see some prototypes and stuff like that. I do believe this basic series Roman, maybe this is going to be the man bun, or maybe this is going to be the correct sculpt. We'll have to see. I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but maybe it'll probably just be a repeat of, I think it's basic series 158 or whatever, in that Obafemi wave. I'm pretty sure it'll just be a repeat of that head sculpt, but I do like that head sculpt, so maybe they'll do it, or maybe they'll get a little bit closer to the faded tapered beard that we want to see. But also in this wave, I just think we're going to be waiting out to see exactly what they look like, again, painted and sculpted and things like that. But in basic series 161, we have Undertaker, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Jade Cargill, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So you get a couple flashbacks there, seeing what that looks like and things like that. Maybe they'll repeat some of those Legends figures of the Monday Night Wars Undertaker head sculpt. Would be pretty cool to see in this basic series, but you are getting Yeet versus no Yeet there. I'm interested to see what gears those are going to be and things of that nature. I'm actually shocked that in this Elite Series 121 we haven't seen a Jey Uso or anything like that to get some of those, Yeet gears out there. I know he's coming in a few other sets, but I'm surprised they are not just pumping Jey Uso out like it's going out of style. But the Championship Showdown packs for Series 24 is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, Silva. We have LA Knight versus Logan Paul, and we have Tamatonga versus Jacob Fatu. So I am holding out that Tamatonga in that Championship Showdown pack is not the same head sculpt as his Elite, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I imagine they're going to have to reuse that at some point, but hopefully it's at least modified in some way. Maybe they can sculpt it differently or give us a different head sculpt expression, and hopefully the Jacob Fatu also looks good. I'm excited for that, man. I'm excited to see what those look like. And obviously they're familiar names, but it would be cool to see some new sculpts or some really toyetic figures or promo gears and things like that in the main event series line, especially with the newer articulation and the different sculpts and the ability to swap heads without heat has always it's upgraded the basics line in a certain way. And ever since they implemented that change into the main event series, I definitely pick up more basics than I used to, and I pay a little bit more attention to them and want them because for a long time, like back in the day, I used to collect basics all the time, and then they moved on to the newer. They moved into the Basic Series 77 or whatever. That kind of completely changed the game, and it was just a horrific time for basic figures. And then most recently at Comic-Con 2023 or whatever, when they changed the basics back, that was a huge day because the figures improved so much. But that is all the news that we have here today, man. We had Elite Series 121, a few basic series, and then we did have Championship Showdown packs. So I'm excited to see what all these figures look like when they come to fruition. But I would like to know down in the comment section below how you guys feel about everything. And are you excited for Elite Series 121? Completely skippable. I mean, if you're a modern day figure collector, it's all up your alley. But if you're a flashback collector and you don't care about that CM Punk or John Cena, I feel like you could easily skip the entire thing, which I think allows you room to collect other lines, or it allows you to pick up some of those flashback figures that you want to collect. So that's very good there. So they attack every angle of the action figure market. But that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's news, man. I hope you guys did enjoy. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on all this down in the comment section below. But a huge shout out to our Patreon members, man. I appreciate all you fellas, of course. As always, you guys are unbelievable, and I appreciate your support. Thank you guys so very much for everything, man. I'm getting the hell out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Leave me your thoughts again down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.